Happy Friday, Gut Health Recovery Group. Hello. Can't believe it's already the end of the week. These weeks go so quickly. We had a couple of questions this week. One was on oats and potential symptoms that oats might be causing people's guts. And the second one was on how to choose the healthiest pre-made convenience meals. So things like light and easy and new foods and all that sort of stuff. So I might start with that question. The question was around this particular person has no choice but to choose convenience meals. So things like light and easy and new foods were the two particular ones that they spoke about. How do you know which ones to choose? What is the best convenience meal to choose, and how can you make it as healthy as possible? So it depends on everyone's circumstance. So obviously in here there's a lot of people that are sensitive to certain foods. So obviously going through the individual ingredients list on the website is going to be the best thing. But whenever I'm working with a client and looking at these foods, I'm first of all making sure that there's as minimal processed stuff as possible. So it's as close to as what you would be making at home as possible. So in that sense, if you're relying on these meals for at least once, if not twice a day, they really should contain some sort of protein, a heap of veggies, and then a whole lot of good quality whole grains. So it's very easy, I guess, to go for ones that you like, because it's like ordering at a restaurant. But if you're looking at it across a whole week, I would want to be choosing no more than 3 red meat meals. And then I would also want to be choosing a couple of fish meals in there as well, and making sure that there is at least 2 cups of vegetables with each of those serves. If they don't come along with veggies and it's something that you think you really might like, another really good easy option for people who are limited with cooking are the Snap Fresh frozen vegetables in the Steam Fresh bags, the individual ones, because they in themselves are 2.5 serves of vegetables each. So that gets half your daily veggie requirements done in one meal. The other thing, U-Foods is probably one of the better ones, mainly because it's not frozen, and they tend to have quite a lot of options for veggies and protein. They just don't seem to have the pasta ones that I've seen, and with all of these meals actually tend to be pretty unbalanced. So whenever I'm recommending pasta to a client, or if somebody wants to eat pasta and we're trying to balance that meal, we're always trying to make sure that there's 1 cup of pasta, 2 cups of veggies, and a cup of the meat sauce or whatever it might be. Whereas a lot of those pre-done meals, the pasta meals don't do that. So if you're choosing a pasta meal, keep in mind that it's probably going to be pretty light on protein and also going to almost definitely be light on veggies. So I hope that starts to answer the question. I'm not really going to recommend one particular meal service over another. Quite a lot of them are work with dietitians and employ dietitians to make sure that there is a good balance amongst all of their meals. And as far as I understand, there is not one that is far and away stand out as opposed to the others. So yeah, the biggest thing is making sure, and I'm sure it's up in the group, that plate model, but half of the meal should be made up of veggies, 1/4 of it your protein, and then the other 1/4 the good quality whole grain carbohydrates. So whether that's potato with the skin on, brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, pasta, whole grain pasta if you can get it. But yeah, as long as it's meeting those 3 in terms of getting those three things on the plate with each meal, then it's doing a good job. I would say most of the time they are quite low in veg, so just make sure that you have some of those steam fresh veggies in the freezer if you're not able to cook, or even adding things like cherry tomatoes and baby spinach as a salad that you don't actually have to cut anything up. You're just grabbing handfuls of it and throwing it into as a side salad or something like that. The second question was a question around quick oats versus traditional oats. So first of all, I guess, and I might put this down because I'm going to use my hands to explain this. First of all, when you have quick oats, regular traditional oats are like a whole oat. When you have the quick oats, it's been chopped up. So when the oats are chopped up, there's less work for your stomach to do to get the nutrition out of it. So it means it's digested and absorbed really, really quickly. The nutritional components of the oat are literally still the same though. So it's still got the same amount of grain, whole grain, carbohydrate, all that sort of stuff, protein, a little bit of protein. But when you are eating it, when you're having it prepared quickly as like traditionally, I think I see this written in American and English things, oatmeal, it means that it's been ground up more finely than the traditional oat. So it means that that's going to get digested and absorbed really quickly, which has the potential to raise your blood sugar really quickly, which can cause a quick rise in insulin, which can make you feel full for a little bit, but then it goes really quickly because your body's digested it all really quickly. If you have the traditional oats, the body has to do that crunching and grinding and breaking up those oats more itself. So it's going to take longer to get the nutrition out. It's going to take longer to get the sugar out, which is not going to cause such a spike in insulin, which means you're less likely to get that drop and then feel hungry later. When you the other thing with the quick oats is they're often in sachets, and they'll be like creamy honey or mixed berry or lots, you know, these other types of flavored things. There's generally going to be a lot of added sugar. So you've got the sugar coming out really quickly from the ground up oats, but then you've also got the added sugars that are have been added back into the product, which makes that sugar come out. It can be a really big hit of sugar, especially first thing in the morning, which can have you by lunchtime getting really hungry, or even mid-morning craving something sweet. If the quick part of the oats is the appealing part, what I always recommend is to get people to get through the traditional oats and mix them with milk or water and put them in the fridge overnight. And then in the morning, if you want to eat them, they can be eaten like that. Or you can heat them up in the morning as well in the microwave, like you would the quick oats. And then they take the same amount of time to cook, but you're actually getting the whole traditional oat. You're not getting it all chopped up, and you're not getting any added sugars. It's whatever you add to it. So adding things like vanilla extract and cinnamon even can make things taste a lot sweeter without adding that extra sugar. The other thing you can add is frozen berries in while you're cooking it, because they start to cook down and disperse through it, and they tend to go the same kind of consistency as regular the quick oats anyway. But in terms of the nutritional components of quick oats versus traditional oats, if they're literally the same. So one is not likely to be better for you than the other, apart from the effect on keeping you fuller for longer, and also then keeping your blood sugars within regular ranges as well, or preventing that quick spike and that quick release of insulin and sugar into your bloodstream. The other question that was related to that came from the same person was, could one or the other have an effect on any particular reflux that someone might be getting? So oats themselves are actually recommended on what's called a GERD diet, esophageal reflux. So I wouldn't say that oats themselves are the thing that's causing the reflux. I'd be looking at what you are having with the oats. So whether you have mixed fruits that maybe don't agree with you, or the dairy that you're mixing, if that doesn't agree with you. I would also be thinking about what you're doing straight after you're having breakfast. So you're moving around a lot, because that sort of if your stomach acids are moving around more than you would normally, then that can cause the food to come back up. The other thing is portion size. So simply having just a really large portion of something to eat can make you feel, can put pressure on the top of the base of your esophagus, which can actually cause some of that feeling to come back up your throat and give you that reflux as well. All reflux should be checked out by a doctor. There's reasons why, if you ever go to the chemist and ask for Gaviscon, that the pharmacy assistant asks you lots of questions, because reflux can often be masking, the feeling of reflux can be masking another potential issue that you could be having. So if it's persisting and you can't put your finger on it, definitely go to the doctor and get it checked out. And I think that's it for now, unless anybody on live has any questions. But otherwise, hope you all have a great Friday and a good weekend. And if you're in Melbourne, stay warm. Bye.